For about 2 weeks maybe, there has been a bunch of rocks sitting outside in the apartment complex across the street from me. There's been a bunch of rocks sitting in the parking lot. Now there is a new pile of rocks. Still haven't figured out what that apartment complex is doing with a bunch of rocks. Okay, real fast, this is for Tina Chen and anybody else that's having problems connecting the gimbal to the Karma grip. At the top here, this part rotates. If you're holding it like this, it's going to rotate to your left. Just like that. Once you've got it rotated, you take the gimbal. If you look in there, you take this shorter end here, you line it up, just slide it in, and then you move this back, and it's on. Gimbal's on. Today is voting day here in the United States. I am on my way to vote. I'm hoping that the fact that there is some slight sprinkling of the rain going on right now, that will mean that I don't have any crowds. That and the fact that it's 10 in the morning. I have a pretty busy day planned because I'm going to do some errands after this. I need to go shopping and I need to pack for my trip for this weekend. So in the last vlog I mentioned I'm pretty excited about this week. One of the reasons I'm excited is because I am not working very much. The other reason that I'm excited is because I am going to Kansas City. So I need to pack. Vote here. I think that sign's for me. I have no idea where I'm going. Other than I know I needed to come to this park. Never actually been here, even though it's just down the road from me. As you know, for a lot of very good reasons, it's illegal to bring any cameras into the voting area. So at this point, I'm going to leave you guys in the car. So far, it does not look super busy. I mean, there's a number of cars here, but some of them have to be for the workers themselves. The polling people. So I'm hoping there's not a line, but either way, next time you see me, I will have voted. I want to explain, so first off, so it's 11 o'clock right now. When I first walked in there, it was 10:13. So it took almost an hour to do the voting. When I said it didn't look pretty busy, I was wrong. So let me explain the scene really quick. There are, within the building behind me, there are 3 different precincts in there. And on those each precinct depends on where you live. And for whatever reason, where I live, my precinct has a ridiculously long line. Like literally everyone in this parking lot, every car in this parking lot must be for my precinct because I didn't see anybody else voting in any of the other precincts. So that's why it took me about an hour. I got my sticker. I voted. The other thing that was somewhat frustrating in causing the long line was that there was only 6 booths for people to vote at one time. So only 6 people could be voting at one time, which may have been enough had it not been for the fact that everyone was at my precinct voting. The other problem is that it took them they only had one person looking up names. So when you got to the front of the line, that one person had to look through the book, find your name, you then had to sign, and then you could go vote. Well, voting doesn't take very long, especially if you do your homework beforehand and know what you want to do. So the bottleneck was really the lady that had to look up our names. There was only one of her. There should have been at least 2, if not 3. We could have had all 6 people voting at any given time, and that line would have gone very quickly. Either way, I voted. I was able to cast my ballot. I'm very glad that I was able to take the time to do so today. So I want to just bring up 2 educational things that I overheard or I witnessed in line while I was voting. So first of all, I heard some people, I assume joking, but I'm not sure, talking about writing in names. Now, if you don't know, writing in names can be a good source for writing in another candidate, whether that's for president, whether that's for your local congressman, or whatever that may be. However, in order to be a viable write-in, you had to have registered your name as a write-in candidate prior to the election. So you couldn't have you can't, in most states, you can't just write in anybody's name. I can't just write my name in unless I go through the process of becoming a viable write-in candidate. So that was one thing that I overheard. The other thing that I witnessed a lot of, and this was not the younger generation. I mean, yes, the younger generation was part of it, but this was not generation specific. And that is so many people taking out their phones to take pictures of the line or do whatever on their phones. And even though the polling people continually said, do not have your phones out while you are in this building, people consistently walked into the building, took their phone out, and took a picture. Now, the most egregious offender I saw, probably because of her proximity to me, was the 70-year-old lady behind me that was almost constantly taking pictures until a polling person specifically had to go over to her and tell her to stop doing it. And the reason it's such a big deal to not have a camera out in a polling place is because it opens up the door to corruption. If you are able to take a picture of yourself with the ballot that you cast and go through the whole process, you are more likely to be able to be paid for voting a certain way. And that is not a good thing. We don't want people to be able to ball off on voting. We want them to be able to make an educated decision on their own. So those are just two of the things I witnessed and saw during that time. And with that, I'm going to switch gears from voting to a different registration topic. As you can probably guess, that topic will be around the GoPro Karma. So I do want to bring up the fact that it is illegal to not register your drone if you're flying it outside. Now there's some rules and regulations around that, and what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description down below. So there's a bunch of people standing on these corners with signs of who to vote for. As a union representative of the UAW, you are under an expectation to help support the voting. So I just passed one of the UAW representatives I work with. I may have to stop by and bring him a coffee or something on the way back. So the registration isn't too picky about how you place your registration number on your drone, as long as it is clearly visible and easily accessible. I had this plan to go grocery shopping today because I figured there would be no one here. It looks busy. I hate grocery shopping. Grocery shopping done. As you can see, I picked up a snow shovel. One of the many problems of only owning one vehicle, and that one vehicle being a Camaro, is that it can make some daily tasks difficult. I have been looking into purchasing a used truck at some point in the future, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that just yet. So as I was saying before, I was talking about drone registration, and I do want to point out why you may want to consider registering your drone if you haven't. If you are caught flying your drone illegally without registration, you face a penalty fine of up to $27,500, I believe it is, something of that nature. If you are flying in a restricted airspace, such as an airport, I believe the fine's even steeper than that. So I guess the moral of the story for today's vlog is going to be education. Knowledge really is power. The more that you know, the better educated decision you can make on the things that are going to affect you and those around you and others that you care about. See, I got to park the car out here in the rain because my garage is too narrow and these doors are too wide, and I won't be able to get this shovel out, and I won't be able to get all the groceries out in the garage. I spent much of the rest of the day packing, doing errands, other miscellaneous things. As I started to say, but didn't get to finish, I'm going to Kansas City this weekend. I really needed to pack because I have a lot of stuff to pack. And ultimately, it was a really productive afternoon and day, but not all that exciting for YouTube. So the last thing I'm going to do today is play some Call of Duty with one of my good friends. So what I'll do is I'll leave you with some shots I got from the GoPro Karma, and I will also throw that up just because it always looks great to have some aerial footage.